I want you to look at this average ticket price for 2019. $9.16. That was the average U.S. movie ticket price. Now, granted, and I'm going to be financially very fair on this, that is when Ant-Man and the Wasp came out, summer of 2019, 2018. Excuse me, 2018. $9.11. 2019, $9.16. We had Endgame. We had Spider-Man. Whatever the last one was, Homecoming.
Far From Home.
Far From Home. Thank you. You know, those kind of things. But relatively speaking, between 18 and 19, the ticket prices were the same. Now, give it some deference at this point, because that also includes like re-releases of, you know, movie theaters threw in The Godfather and all this kind of stuff. That might account for less than 5% of total theatrical revenue over the course of a given calendar or fiscal year. Let's give some deference to Ant-Man in 2018 and say the average price was $10 a ticket. 10.
Right.
The average ticket price this opening weekend that hauled in how much? 225 million, right?
Globally.
Globally, the average ticket price here in the U.S., and this is the National Association of Theater Owners. This is the end-all, be-all. They track this, okay? The average ticket price, according to intelligence, as cited in Deadline magazine today, which I put in the earlier video from this morning, $14.
Right.
For Ant-Man.
Which is dramatically even higher than what I was citing. That's higher than I was citing at the 25%.
That is a 40% increase from me giving an extra 12% deference to the 2018 average. Boosting it, well, 10% if we go by $9.11. 90-cent boost to $10 a ticket in 2018. $14 a ticket for this past weekend. Marvel, Disney, you've basically lost a 30+% of your audience, if not more, and Ant-Man was already the weakest entry that you had. I don't know why they launched Phase 5 with this. I don't know why they closed Phase 4 with Wakanda Forever, which that had lost well over half of its audience since 2018. But Undoomed, where are you on this?
I just don't care about Ant-Man. It's like, what have they done with all the interesting characters? Why do they have to keep killing them off and go to all these characters that I just don't care about? That's just my personal experience of it. I'm sure there's people out there who's always been a fan of Ant-Man, I guess, but I just don't give a shit. It's I kind of miss Iron Man and you know, the Avengers and all that. That was fun.
Yeah, it was. Well, you had good characters that had a lot to offer. They were well written, it seemed. The stories were interesting and cohesive. And now we've just got, here's 90 minutes to 2 hours of bad jokes and a ton of CGI because we don't know what else to do.
It seems to me like they're trying to just throw as much CGI in there as possible. They're the most happy if the entire movie is just CGI. And it's like, you can make an argument that limitations increase creativity, I think. And that is definitely not something they've ever had to consider, because now they can do absolutely everything and it's not making movies better.
It's not. I mean, especially when you look at, I think I posted this on Twitter, Steven Spielberg's comments earlier this week when he ran into Tom Cruise at some event. I forget what it was at this point. But there was a video that went viral where Spielberg grabs Tom Cruise and says, "Thank you. You just saved Hollywood's ass."
Oh, you mean with Maverick?
Yeah.
Right. That's true. That's true.
And people were like, "Oh, Spider-Man and all this kind of stuff." I'm like, no, I think y'all missed Spielberg's point, because it showed that you can make a huge hit. You can make a big box office success that doesn't involve a superhero franchise and an absolute ridiculous amount of post-production VFX. You can just make a really good movie with a great story, solid actors, solid performances, solid directing, solid screenwriting, minimal VFX to where you know, like there's no other way we could possibly do this, and it makes $1.5 billion.
But I mean, it was clear to see for everyone how much better it is when you do it for real. You could feel that Tom Cruise was in that cockpit and that they were actually flying.
Indeed. I mean, and that's exactly it. That is exactly it.
That made it so much better.
It did. But Pro, I mean, as far as this trend with Hollywood, I mean, you've been covering this for a while. Your thoughts?
Well, what I would say is that the farther you go into nonstop CGI, the greater the danger it is for you to become unmoored to any kind of semblance of reality. You lose the scope and the stakes that matter to people. That's what I continued to go back to as I was watching Ant-Man. I went back over and over in my mind thinking, who cares? Who cares about any of this? Who cares about saving the lives of little CGI blob people who want to have holes put into them so that they can be like humans? Like this went into such an acid trip that it just came across as something an edgy 8-year-old would have done to a really bad script to try to fix it. And I'll tell you, I think in reality, Marvel should not have released this film, and I'll tell you why. The damage that is done by this movie goes far beyond Ant-Man. So you're right. I don't care about Ant-Man either, except as sort of a jokey, character, as a fun little hero that is sort of B tier. That's fine. But this really damages Marvel, and that's why I call it the Phase 5 dive. It is not. It's not insulated to this film. It's not singularly damaging. And I'm going to give an example, but this has to go into spoiler territory. So if you don't want to be spoiled, then close your ears and go la 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 for a few minutes or 60 seconds. Give me 60 seconds. Here's the deal. All the way through the original Marvel movies, we had this saga building up to take on the big bad guy. And the big bad guy was Thanos, right? And then we get to the big bad guy. And yeah, he was really bad. And he was really cool. And everybody loved it because there was gravitas. There was a feeling of this is it. This is the big last round. And with this movie, what it does is it brings in the guy who is supposed to be the villain that carries us through Phase 5 and Phase 6. Here comes the spoiler. That villain in this movie is defeated by a colony of ants. He is defeated by these stupid ants that are sucked in at the same time as our heroes are sucked into the quantum realm, which is actually Strange World version 2.0. But these ants are sucked in. We don't know that they're sucked in. They just appear later in the movie. And God only knows why ants would super evolve into highly technologically advanced societies that are socialists. And that's said in the film. So that, kudos to them for actually saying it. But you've got socialist ants with laser beams. It's like a joke from Austin Powers. It's like sharks with laser beams. And Michael Douglas. I just
want freaking sharks with freaking laser beams.
Just God bless all these actors, because I mean, I can't. I don't know how much you would have to pay me to get me to say some of these stupid lines, like "It's my ants." Like, there's no way you can say that and it not be stupid. There's no way. And the ants, the stupid laser wielding ants, like Auntie from Honey I Shrunk the Kids. That is what defeats the bad guy that we're supposed to care about for the rest of these phases. Like, who cares? Next time he'll be taken down by butterflies or moths. Who cares? And that's Marvel right now.
Yeah. Undo?
Yeah. No, I agree. It's I haven't actually seen the movie, and I'm not going to until they stream it, I guess. I'm not going to give them my money for this. So I can't go into the actual story, except for the fact that I've heard several people say that it's the exact storyline from Tron Legacy. Have you heard that?
Interesting.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Apparently, he gets sucked into a world that is
I see the analogy.
Yeah, and there's apparently a parental figure that's in there, and the bad guy wants to raise an army to go into the real world, and that's what I heard. So that was an interesting take, but I guess I'll see it when it streams.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe not.
Oh my Lord. Well, here's the thing. And as we get into the conversation as we go on, of course, this is a bigger conversation as it ties into society as a whole, right? Because as they say, well, as they used to say, that I now disagree with, politics is downstream of culture. Culture is now downstream of politics, which is being manipulated to devise culture.
Renegade on